Hello students. In the previous video series, you learned how to solve linear equations. In other words, you're given an equation with a variable and some numbers in it, such as 2x plus 5 equals 8, and you had to find what the value of x was to make that equation true. But what we're going to do in this video series is exactly the same operations, but instead of solving for the value of an unknown, what we're going to do is change the subject of a formula. So what do we mean by that? Well, have a look at this sentence down here. John is very handsome. John, that's called the subject. Is the verb, and is very handsome is called the predicate. So if you compare that to A equals L times W, or area equals length times width, A is the subject of the formula, equals is like the verb, and equals L times W is like the predicate. So to change the subject of a formula, instead of finding out what the formula for A is, we want to rewrite that and find out what the formula for L is. Similarly, here's the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle. We can rewrite that to find a formula for the length of a rectangle, assuming that we know the perimeter and the width. Okay, let's get started. Okay, we're going to start with 4 simple equations to begin with. And as I said, it's exactly the same as what you learned when you're solving linear equations. The order of operations in reverse. So to solve equations or to change the subject of a formula, the first thing we always do is undo any adding or subtracting. We then undo any multiplying or dividing. We then undo any indices, which includes powers and square roots and so on. And finally, we undo anything inside the brackets. So I'm going to do the first one and then let you have a go at the next 3, please. So y equals m plus k, I want to make m the subject. So the operation that I have here is adding k. The opposite of adding k is to subtract k. So I do that to both sides. Plus k minus k equals 0. That leaves me with just an m, which I'm going to write on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, I just have y take k. So notice, of course, that what we're ending up with here is an algebraic expression now and not just a number. Okay, stop the video and see if you can make m the subject in each of the other 3 equations, please. Okay, let's see how you went. Okay, I'll do this one next. So m subtract k, the opposite of subtracting k is adding k. And again, whatever we do to one side, we do to the other side. That goes to 0. I'll write the m on the left because the subject's always written on the left. And that gives me y plus k. This one, k is multiplied by m, or m is multiplied by k. To make m the subject, the opposite of multiplying by k is dividing by k. They cross out, or you could sort of say k over k equals 1, and 1m is just m. We write the m on the left-hand side since it's a subject, and the expression on the right is y over k. And the last one, to make m the subject, well, m is divided by k. The opposite of dividing by k is multiplying by k. The k's cancel out, or k over k equals 1. Writing the m on the left-hand side, m equals k times y, or m equals ky. Okay, now we got a couple of slightly more challenging questions on the next page. So they're in red. That indicates they're a bit more challenging. Stop the video and see if you can figure out how to write m as the subject for each of those. Okay, let's have a go at this one. Now, there's a couple of ways to do it, but here's what I think is the easiest way. The problem here, of course, is m is being subtracted from k. So if I just take the k away from that side, I'm going to end up with subtract m, or if I change that to plus negative m. So one way to do it would be to change that to plus negative, take away the k, etc. But I think an easier way to do it might be to say, well, if I've got k minus m, I'm going to just add m to both sides. Minus m plus m disappears. I've got y plus m on the left, and I've got just k on the right. Now, the point of all of that is I've now got plus m and not minus m. Now I can finish off by subtracting y from each side, and I get m equals k subtract y. And again, there's other ways you could have arrived at the same answer using a different approach. Okay, problem over here is m is in my denominator. So let's use the same idea in this question as I did in this one. I want to get the m out of the denominator, so one way to do that is to multiply both sides times m. So multiply that times m, multiply that times m. M over m goes to 1, and I have my equals k. And finally, I want to leave the m by itself on the left-hand side, so I divide by y. And the equation is m equals, or the formula is, I should say, m equals k over y. Okay, what we'll look at in the next video is some slightly more complicated equations, and again, change the subject of the formula.